When rewiring an older home, updating the electrical wiring to meet the current code requirements is highly recommended. This is important for safety reasons and can also increase the value of the home. Outdated wiring can pose a fire hazard and may not meet modern electrical demands. The electrical inspector will check that the wiring complies with current code standards. If the wiring is not up to code, the inspector may require changes before approving the inspection. Running wires through rafters is not against code, but it is no longer the preferred method. Newer homes often use electrical boxes and channels to route wires and maintain a clean and organized appearance. While running wires through rafters is still allowed, it may not pass inspection in some jurisdictions. The preferred methods for running electrical wires in modern homes are firstly, using electrical boxes and conduit, secondly, running wires along joists or through studs, and thirdly, using surface-mounted raceways or channels. Safety hazards can result from not updating to code. Outdated wiring can be a fire hazard. A reduced home value can also result. A home with outdated wiring may be less desirable to potential buyers. A failed inspection is a possible consequence. If the electrical wiring does not meet code, the inspection may not be approved. Potential fines or penalties can occur as well. In some jurisdictions, there may be fines or penalties for not complying with electrical code requirements. It is always best to update the electrical wiring in an older home to meet current code requirements. This ensures safety, increases home value, and helps to avoid potential issues during inspection. Running wires through rafters is still allowed in some cases, but newer methods are preferred for a more organized and aesthetically pleasing appearance. Electrical codes and standards are in place to ensure the safety of electrical systems and protect people and property from electrical hazards. These codes are developed and maintained by organizations such as the National Fire Protection Association (NFPA), which publishes the National Electrical Code, or NEC. The NEC is widely adopted in the United States and serves as the basis for electrical codes in many other countries. The NEC is updated every 3 years to reflect changes in technology, safety practices, and industry standards. It covers a wide range of topics, including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and equipment installation. Local jurisdictions may adopt the NEC with or without amendments depending on their specific needs and requirements. When rewiring an older home, it is important to be aware of the current electrical codes and standards in your area and to ensure that the work is performed by a qualified electrician who is familiar with these requirements. Common wiring methods include firstly, non-metallic sheath cable, often referred to as NM cable or Romex, is a type of electrical wiring commonly used in residential buildings. It consists of 2 or more insulated conductors enclosed in a non-metallic sheath. NM cable is typically used for branch circuits that supply power to lighting receptacles and other electrical devices. Secondly, metallic conduit is a rigid or flexible metal tubing used to protect electrical conductors from damage and provide a path for grounding. Conduit is commonly used in commercial and industrial buildings, as well as in residential buildings where additional protection is required. Thirdly, armored cable, also known as AC cable or BX cable, is a type of electrical wiring that consists of insulated conductors wrapped in a flexible metal armor. AC cable is commonly used in older homes and is suitable for both exposed and concealed wiring. Grounding is an essential safety measure in electrical systems that provides a low impedance path for fault current to flow back to the source. This helps to protect people from electric shock and prevent damage to equipment. Grounding is typically achieved by connecting the metal enclosures of electrical equipment to a grounding electrode, such as a ground rod or a metal water pipe. Overcurrent protection is another important safety measure that protects electrical circuits from excessive current flow. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses, are designed to trip or blow when the current exceeds a certain level, interrupting the flow of electricity and preventing damage to wiring and equipment. Electrical boxes are enclosures used to house electrical connections, such as splices, terminations, and devices. Electrical boxes are typically made of metal or plastic and are available in a variety of sizes and shapes to accommodate different wiring configurations. When installing electrical wiring, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions and all applicable codes and standards. This includes using the correct wire size, making proper connections, and providing adequate support and protection for the wiring. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it is always best to hire a qualified electrician to perform any electrical work in your home. A qualified electrician will have the knowledge, skills, and experience to ensure that the work is done safely and correctly. They will also be familiar with the local electrical codes and standards and can help you to ensure that your electrical system meets all applicable requirements. Consider the wire gauge when rewiring. The American wire gauge, or AWG, system is a standardized method for specifying the diameter of electrical conductors. The AWG number is inversely proportional to the diameter of the wire, meaning that a smaller AWG number corresponds to a larger diameter wire. The appropriate wire gauge for a particular application depends on the amount of current the wire will be carrying and the distance the wire will be run. The NEC provides tables that specify the allowable ampacities of different wire gauges for various insulation types and operating conditions. For example, Table 310.15b16 in the 2020 NEC lists the allowable ampacities for insulated conductors rated up to 600 volts, based on the conductor's insulation type and the ambient temperature. Using the correct wire gauge is essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of an electrical system. If the wire gauge is too small, the wire may overheat and cause a fire. If the wire gauge is too large, it may be difficult to work with and may not fit properly in electrical boxes and terminals. When selecting wire for a particular application, it is important to consult the NEC and other applicable codes and standards to ensure that the wire gauge is appropriate for the intended use. Also consider circuit breakers. Circuit breakers are overcurrent protection devices that are designed to trip or open a circuit when the current exceeds a certain level. Circuit breakers are typically used in residential and commercial electrical systems to protect wiring and equipment from damage caused by overloads and short circuits. Circuit breakers are available in a variety of sizes and types to accommodate different current ratings and applications. The current rating of a circuit breaker is the maximum amount of current that the breaker can carry without tripping. Circuit breakers are also classified by their interrupting rating, which is the maximum amount of fault current that the breaker can safely interrupt. When selecting circuit breakers for a particular application, it is important to consider the current rating of the circuit and the interrupting rating of the breaker. The NEC provides guidelines for selecting circuit breakers based on the size and type of the load being served. For example, Article 240 of the NEC covers overcurrent protection and provides requirements for selecting and installing circuit breakers. Also, consider grounding and bonding. Grounding and bonding are essential safety measures in electrical systems that help to protect people from electric shock and prevent damage to equipment. Grounding is the process of connecting the metal enclosures of electrical equipment to a grounding electrode, such as a ground rod or a metal water pipe. This provides a low impedance path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to trip over current protection devices and clear faults quickly. Bonding is the process of connecting together all of the metal parts of an electrical system, such as metal conduit, metal boxes, and metal equipment enclosures. This creates a common electrical potential throughout the system, which helps to reduce the risk of electric shock. The NEC provides detailed requirements for grounding and bonding in Article 250. These requirements cover a wide range of topics, including grounding electrode systems, grounding conductors, bonding jumpers, and equipment grounding. When installing electrical wiring, it is important to follow the NEC grounding and bonding requirements to ensure the safety of the electrical system. Also, consider electrical boxes. Electrical boxes are enclosures used to house electrical connections, such as splices, terminations, and devices. Electrical boxes are typically made of metal or plastic and are available in a variety of sizes and shapes to accommodate different wiring configurations. Electrical boxes are used to protect electrical connections from damage and to provide a safe and secure enclosure for wiring. The NEC provides requirements for the installation of electrical boxes in Article 314. These requirements cover a wide range of topics, including box fill calculations, box support, and box location. Box fill calculations are used to determine the maximum number of conductors that can be installed in an electrical box. The NEC provides tables that specify the allowable number of conductors for different box sizes and wiring methods. Box support requirements ensure that electrical boxes are securely mounted and supported. The NEC specifies the types of supports that are acceptable for different box types and mounting locations. Box location requirements ensure that electrical boxes are installed in accessible locations where they can be easily inspected and maintained. Also, consider GFCI protection. Ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, are devices that are designed to protect people from electric shock. GFCIs work by monitoring the current flowing in a circuit and detecting any imbalance between the hot and neutral conductors. If a ground fault occurs, meaning that current is leaking to ground, the GFCI will trip and interrupt the flow of electricity. GFCIs are required by the NEC in certain locations where there is a high risk of electric shock, such as bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas. The NEC specifies the type of outlets and circuits that require GFCI protection in Article 210. For example, all 125-volt, 15-amp and 20-amp receptacles installed in bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas must be GFCI protected. GFCIs are available in a variety of types, including receptacle-type GFCIs, circuit breaker-type GFCIs, and portable GFCIs. Receptacle-type GFCIs are installed in place of standard receptacles and provide GFCI protection for the outlet. Circuit breaker-type GFCIs are installed in the electrical panel and provide GFCI protection for the entire circuit. Portable GFCIs are designed to be plugged into standard outlets and provide GFCI protection for portable tools and equipment. Also consider PSI protection. Arc fault circuit interrupters, or PSIs, are devices that are designed to protect against electrical fires caused by arc faults. Arc faults are dangerous electrical conditions that can occur when damaged or deteriorated wiring creates an unintended arc between conductors. PSIs work by monitoring the current flowing in a circuit and detecting the unique characteristics of arc faults. If an arc fault is detected, the PSI will trip and interrupt the flow of electricity. PSIs are required by the NEC in certain locations where there is a high risk of electrical fires, such as bedrooms and living rooms. The NEC specifies the types of circuits that require PSI protection in Article 210. For example, all branch circuits that supply power to bedrooms must be PSI protected. PSIs are available in a variety of types, including circuit breaker type PSIs and outlet branch circuit PSIs. Circuit breaker type PSIs are installed in the electrical panel and provide PSI protection for the entire circuit. Outlet branch circuit PSIs are installed at the first outlet on the circuit and provide PSI protection for the entire branch circuit. When rewiring an older home, it is important to consider the requirements for GFCI and PSI protection and to install these devices in accordance with the NEC. These devices can help to protect people from electric shock and prevent electrical fires.